One of the things we didn't touch on, but maybe is an issue, and certainly seen it in the Bakken, some folks talk about it in the Wolf Camp. What about the issue of frac-through? Is there any issue there, and would you see a role for a CNF to play in the question about frac-through between two horizontals?
As a problem or as a...
Either way.
I mean, we certainly have frac-intos, and we'll have it more and more, particularly in the DJ Basin where we're drilling horizontals through an old field. And within a section, we may have 40 old wells within 2,000 feet of the horizontal. I guess an advantage may be if I do have frac-intos, that the fluid itself is going to be good quality fluid. It's going to have, it's not going to cause me a damaging type product. And in fact, that's the one thing we have seen in most cases with these frac-intos, other than they're unexpected if you frac into a vertical well, sure, that in most cases we really don't see decline in production. Maybe initially it may knock him offline and production declines, but in most cases we see it go back to at least initial production and sometimes actually even better. So I don't really see a negative by having those products in it. And again, it could very well be a positive.
What about load water recovery? Lots of folks focus on load water recovery as being the proof that you succeeded or failed.
It's very interesting because again, it's as we've gone through the 30-some years of doing this, with the basic surfactants, 15 and 20 years ago, we focused a lot on load recovery and its effect on production. And looking back on all the studies we ever did, the only thing that we ever really saw was a difference of 5 or 10% either way didn't make any difference. If you got very little load recovery back, many times it was a great well because you had a lot of fractures and you cut oil and gas very quickly. And then the other sense is if you got a lot of load back was the kiss of death because you basically fractured into tombstone, you ballooned it, and it came back. Yeah. As we go look at it now, with these shales, we probably get anywhere from 15 to 30% of our load back over time. And I don't really know that it makes a big difference. I have yet to see a true study that says 22% versus 25% is going to make a huge difference in the production.
Okay. Sort of a moot point.
It's sort of a moot point.
What about one of the issues with a lot of the pad drilling is that the early wells on a pad may literally be weeks to months before they go on production for a sustained period of time. Does the CNF play a role in that debate?
And I've seen the studies that say that, and we've certainly had chances where we've had wells shut in and couldn't bring them on. I haven't personally been able to do a study yet to say that it helped me or made it, I guess, helped or hurt me. But I can say that the wells I did shut in, none of them really came in below my expectations. So I guess I can't necessarily say CNF did that, but I can sure say that, you know, when I did shut in wells and I had CNF in it, yeah, they certainly met my expectations. Even though there was plenty of concern among management that, yeah, we didn't have our pipelines in for a month or two and we might have a problem. When we turned them on, you know, the production was what we expected.
Excellent. What about the long-term performance? Then we've established that there's lots of benefits that arise during the stimulation itself, the emulsions, the lower treating pressure, so on. Do you have any experience or expectation about how the well is going to perform over a longer time frame as a consequence of use in CNF in the frac job? Yeah, very much so. I've been involved in numerous studies now where we've gone and looked at long-term production, whether it was the initial study in 2009 with Anadarko, with Questar up on the anticline, with numerous other operators here in the DJ Basin. And all of the studies do show that we are getting increased production by using the CNF over time. You might not necessarily see it in the first 30 days, but a lot of that also is a function of how each individual operator produces their wells or flows them back.
But once you get back into a steady state flow and you're getting into more of a steady production style or technique, that's when you start to see, that the CNF wells outperform the other wells.
If a client were to tell you that they thought they saw a 30% increase in EUR, would you be surprised?
No. We've seen enough studies now that, or I've seen enough studies now to, I would say it's almost commonplace to see those types of productions. The initial Anadarko study, we showed exactly that, anywhere from 10 to 30% higher ultimate recoveries.